March 11, 2019, will now come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mr. Ellis.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Lucci.
Here.
Mr. Chesno.
Here.
Ms. Dixon. Here. Mr. Ellis.
Here.
Mr. Taylor.
Here.
Mr. Pevitz.
Here.
Mrs. Wilford. Here. Mayor Stutz. Solicitor Garland.
Just remind everyone, please turn your phones off. There's a $5 fine now for cell phones going off during the meeting, so just so you know. All right, do we have any requests for citizens to be heard today? Great, thank you. Engineers report, Mr. Flaw.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have the bid opening dates set for the 2019 road program. We're going to receive bids on April 4th at 10 a.m. With the potential award then at the April council meeting. Also, I do have some bid opening dates for the Shaycog contracts. The CCTV contract will be opened on April 10th, and then the excavation repairs and lining will be opened on April 16th. And that's all.
That's it, that's enough. Any questions for the solicitor, for the engineer? I'm trying to skip half the meeting.
April 4th, that's the same thing that, no, Debbie will be open.
Yes.
So that's.
Well, it'll be in the morning
anyway,
anyway.
you guys.
It'd be in the morning
The
anyway.
engineer will be here too.
Yeah, it'd be in the morning anyway, so. What's the time limit, Brian?
10.
10 a.m.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Okay, anything else? Thank you, Brian. Committee reports, building and zoning, code enforcement, Mr. Tevitz.
This month, we've got a short list of ordinance enforcement with two notable wall notices and one court hearing. And looking forward to grass growing and those sorts of notices coming back into effect. And if we be proactive about that. And that's what I've got for this month.
Okay, I just had actually someone just asked me today about the ordinance about the parking pads and stuff. Where do we stand with that?
Still a review. I've got a restructured work for it to present through Solicitor Garvin with the adjustments for the notes from Allegheny County Review Board.
Yep. All right, any other questions for building and zoning? Thank you, Paul. Parks and Recreation, Mr. Chesno.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do have one motion this evening. It is for Ingram Days. I have a motion to enter into agreement with the Silent Partners, plural, to perform on Saturday, July 20th, 2019 at Ingram Days at a cost of $650.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded by Mr. Ellis. Any questions on the motion?
Are those, rain or shine type contracts?
Yeah, there's a clause. I'll give you a copy of the contract. There is a clause in there. If we do cancel, then we are able to. I forget how that's exactly worded, but we are able to change the date for them to come, or like we owe them like $200 or something like that, or $250. Yeah.
But that's all covered and everything, so generally, even if the weather's bad, that they.
Right. Yeah. The band is usually covered, so it's usually. I don't think we've ever canceled a band.
Don't
I
say
said
that.
that. I said nothing.
We have not up to this point. You couldn't get down. Mine's one for this one.
Which one?
That's it. Okay, any other questions for Joe? Any other questions on that ordinance? Roll call, please.
Mr. Chesno.
Yes.
Ms. Dixon. Yes. Mr. Ellis.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mr. Pevitz.
Yes.
Mrs. Wilford. Yes. Mr. Lucci.
Yes.
We did have an Ingram Days meeting last Monday. What I didn't realize it is our 40th annual, so we're in 40 years. I was actually fairly surprised. I didn't think it was 40 years yet. So we're looking at maybe trying to do something different on Sunday, maybe having two bands since there's nothing going on in the afternoon. We really can't do it Saturday because we normally have a performance down there from Joyce Cole, if they're going to be coming this year. So we didn't want to take that away, but we're looking for some other ideas of what we can do since it is the 40th. So we might have an early band and then another band afterwards. So.
Will that affect the sound cost at all?
No, he's there no matter what. So that sound. Actually, the Silent Partners came at that cost because we had them in 2015, and they actually charged us $750. but since Chuck's doing the sound, they said they would come for $650. So,
Okay, great.
sort of saved us a little bit of money that way, so it sort of worked out well.
So you're still looking for?
Yeah, we have, Rick has a pretty good band that just opened for someone, that's trying to get some, get their name out there. And, I think we could get them extremely inexpensive, so we're gonna see, it's a nineties, they do a lot of nineties and future music, so I figure we try to get something done for the kids. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, up for the kids.
Well, the younger people, younger than me.
I say this with the most love. You can more like Frank every day.
I know. That's all I have.
All right.
Love.
Any questions for Parks and Recreation? Thank you, Joe. Highways, Health, and Sanitation, Ms. Bigson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do have a motion tonight to authorize an expenditure to Shea Cog in the amount of $11,057.16 for the year 8 of the joint O&M repair plan as outlined in the engineer's letter of February 27, 2019.
Motion made and seconded by Mr. Ellis. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Chesno?
Yes.
Ms. Dixon?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Tevitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Wilford?
Yes.
Mr. Nucci?
Yes.
And as everybody knows, we're going to be doing Wheeler, Sterling and, Hughes, and part of Hughes as well, that's where our bid will come in for this year, and also we'll be finishing up, West Prospect hopefully soon. Go ahead.
Any questions for Highways, Health, and Sanitation? Thank you, Karen. Police and Fire, Mrs. Wolford.
Thank you. We had 6 fire calls this past month. 3 were determined to be false alarms and 3 were utility issues where the utilities were all notified. Also, the Easter egg hunt is scheduled for April 13th with a possible rain day if needed on April 20th. So I just put that out online last night. And that is all I have. I have a motion. Motion to adopt ordinance number 1 of 2019 authorizing the entry into a second amended intergovernmental cooperation agreement with the city of Pittsburgh to provide fire protection services in the borough of Ingram with an amended schedule of payments to the city of Pittsburgh for fire protection services.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Mr. Chesno. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Chesno?
Yes.
Ms. Dixon?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Tevitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Wilford?
Yes.
Mr. Nucci?
Yes.
And then, can I read them? Okay, yeah, and that is all I have right now.
Okay. Any questions for Police and Fire? Thank you, Samantha. Finance, Mr. Taylor.
Motion to ratify the payment of February 14, 2019 payroll in the amount of $24,550.07, and the February 28, 2019 payroll in the amount of $26,343.72.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Chesno?
Yes.
Ms. Dixon?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Tevitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Wilford?
Yes.
Mr. Nucci?
Yes.
A motion to ratify the payment of expenses on February 12, 2019 as follows. The general fund, $352.81. Payroll fund, $2,697.91.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded by Ms. Dixon. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Chesno?
Yes.
Ms. Dixon?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Tevitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Wilford?
Yes.
Mr. Nucci?
Yes.
A motion to ratify the payment of expenses on February 26, 2019 as follows. General fund, $24,716.14. Recreation fund, $54.16. And the payroll fund, $2,027.60.
Motion's been made and seconded by Mr. Ellis. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Chesno?
Yes.
Ms. Dixon?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Tevitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Wilford?
Yes.
Mr. Nucci?
Yes.
A motion to pay the expenses for the month of March 2019 as follows. General fund, $10,003.19. Recreation Fund, $387.24. Sanitary Sewer Fund, $20,626.84, which includes the shake-off from above. And the Liquid Fuels Fund of $8,097.44.
Motion's been made and seconded by Ms. Dixon. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Chesney?
Yes.
Ms. Dixon? Yes. Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mrs. Wilford? Mr. Nucci?
Yes.
Anything else?
And that's all, Mr. President.
Any questions for finance? Thank you, Tim. General Government, Mr. Ellis.
I don't have any motions this month, but like you said, they're starting on board tomorrow, right?
Yes.
And are we doing the mailbox at the same time?
No.
No?
No, I don't think so. I think we're waiting to see make sure that there's no opening, closing issues, and then maybe wait till it gets a little warmer if we have to keep the corner clocks here.
Yeah. I know these
Since it
guys-
warms up, we want to get that out.
That's all I have this month.
Okay, any questions for General Government? Thank you, Jerry. Mayor's report, Mayor's absent today. Samantha, would you read the magistrate's?
Yes, I have that we had 189 calls, and we received a check for $1,435.08
From the magistrate.
from the magistrate.
Thank you. Secretary's report, Mrs. Stecco.
Thank you. I'm awaiting quotes for the public officials and employment practices insurance. It expires on April 1st. I would probably have to do a phone vote or a email vote to accept the quote. As Jerry said, the ADA front doors will begin tomorrow. And the pension audit for both pension plans for years 2015 through 2018 has begun, and the audit should be completed within the next 6 weeks. We're gonna set up a meeting with the non-uniform police to discuss their pension.
Thank you.
Any questions for the secretary? I know we have a new employee now, it's only been a few weeks, but do you have any?
It's been a week,
All right.
and it's,
Well, we're in the second week.
and it's very nice to have someone that understands municipal government and actually work in it. Things are working quite well.
So honeymoon is still on, hasn't it?
It's still good.
And, one last thing, I want to wish Mrs. Stecco happy birthday today.
Thank you.
Who's here on her birthday?
Happy birthday.
We're not singing, we're not singing, we're not singing, we're not singing. Anything else for the secretary? Thank you, Debbie. Solicitor's report, Mr. Gordon.
Just, last Tuesday I attended a program, put on by Three Rivers Wetweather and a committee of solicitors who are responsible for negotiating both the trunk line agreement takeover agreement with Alphasan, as well as the second consent orders, because the original consent orders are now on extension. So there's gonna be a whole lot of activity probably within the next 6 months on both of these agreements. And we went over different drafts of these agreements, and there's a whole bunch of questions and edits that need to be done on both of them. And probably is gonna be, I would say it would be lucky by September to be in place to try and adopt some of these things. But it seems like the consent order was just approved yesterday, and it's now
It seems like every time you turn around, there's another consent order.
tenor, but the trunk line agreement's a big deal, with Alphasan.
No, Brian, as far as the condition of the line, before we turn that line, before we turn that over to them, are we all up to speed on that?
They had a handful of repairs they wanted done, they're on the shake-off contract for this.
So when they're ready, we're ready to go.
So, Brian, they said that they camera these lines
Yes.
independently of any work that we did before.
Correct.
Right, okay.
Okay. But you're not anticipating any major issues?
No, there was a couple digs and a couple spots on corners.
Well, that'll be good.
So now it's September, because when we were talking at the HHS committee meeting, it was thought to be somewhere around July, I think.
That was just what I had heard, I'm sure there were
Yeah,
more.
you know what,
up-
let's
up
put
to
it this
speed on
way,
the
if it's
schedule.
done before the end of the year, it's gonna be a minor miracle. Because of the noise that was being made by the solicitors on various aspects of
Is
this.
that on the consent order or on the?
No, trunk.
on the
Trunk,
Yeah.
yeah, the trunk agreement needs to be, a whole lot of work needs to be done. They had the Alphasan representative there too, she's just taking a beating from all of us for a while.
Well, no, that means they're gonna go, I mean, Doug saying Bill's gonna go up now, right?
Well, it's going to, because they're not just taking our trunk lines over,
Yeah,
they're taking trunk lines
they're trying to
over.
take over the whole
So
county.
that once we turn them over, then they're responsible for that maintenance, so.
Yeah, cause I was reading that thing, they're talking about trying to take over Robinsons too, and they're
Hey,
independent.
municipal authority.
Yeah, municipal authorities gonna be paying
They're trying to take over everybody's in the county, so everything's run by Oklahoma.
That's part of their deal with the EPA, part of their consent order too, they have to do this.
Yeah.
I don't think that, there's no way they really wanted to do it.
Yeah, from reading the stuff on it, it's saying Oklahoma's gonna go from like 360 to 1,200 employees.
Somebody told me many years ago that before this is all said and done, your sewage bill will be 5 times what your water bill is. And the more you see, now you understand why. Yeah, I expect that to happen. All right, anything else?
Any of the independents that are in that county are trying to take over.
Any questions for the solicitor? Thank you, Bob. President support, don't have really much of anything. Some COG issues, Bob and I have been working on the UCC Appeals Board, and what that is those are strictly construction issues. That doesn't bypass the zoning hearing board in any way. It's just appeals of the actual interpretation of the Uniform Construction Code. So we don't have our own appeals board, which I think 8 or 9 other communities in the Charles COG don't have. So we have a sample ordinance of a UCC appeals board that we can just have 3 people from all these municipalities under joint board, that if there is an appeal. They don't happen often, but if you have one, you better have a board. So we're working on that ordinance. Salome we're working on a little bit. Bob seems to think he can find something that's a little more elegant than the clunky thing that we got. So we're gonna continue to work on that. Perhaps. And then, the other thing, I'm currently on a COG, well, I have a different term for it, but I'll change the name. Mending Fences tour now. I was at the Carnegie meeting and I stopped at the Green Tree meeting. Basically where we're at with the COG is the COG's got a lot of bad press, rightfully so, over the last couple of years about what's going on. So, what I've told these other municipalities is, we're trying to change things, we're trying to do some things differently. We're gonna try to set up a database of ordinances and contracts and things like that, so that you'll have that at your disposal. If you're working on an ordinance, you don't have to start from the beginning. You can call the COG and get maybe 5 different sample ordinances of local communities and work off of those. You can look at contracts to see how that compares to what you have and things like that. We're trying to, it's hard to quantify the value of the COG in just CDBG grants, especially since they're not doing demolition anymore. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to emphasize the value of the networking part and how we can increase the value of being a member of the COG. And this UCC Appeals Board is one of those things that we're trying to do. What I'm asking the other communities are, I know a lot of people have said about they don't really see the value in being in the COG. We're trying to increase that value. But, we're already in the March meeting here next week, and before you know it, there's not gonna be summer meetings, and then you're gonna be in September where you have to make that decision whether you wanna opt in or opt out of the COG next year. So what I've been doing is just going to the communities and just saying, please give us some time to turn this around. Be patient, help us with these initiatives that we're trying to do to make it more valuable, and be patient with us, before we bail, let's give us a chance to turn it around, because I don't wanna do all this work, and then 4 communities pull out and we're not viable, and we have to fold it up anyway. So I've just been going around trying to spread that message. We've been having the legislators come back to the meetings now who weren't attending before, because the meetings are pretty crisp now, Karen, would you say? Much crisper? Much crisper, so that we've been moving along, instead of being 2.5-hour, 3-hour meetings, or 45-minute meetings, and we can get done. So, do you have any comment you would make? Because Karen pretty much has, since I'm busy herding the cats, Karen has to give our report. One other thing, let me just bring this up, another thing that we're trying to emphasize, and Karen brought up a good thing last month, is, some of you guys have attended COG meetings, and when you go to the meeting, it's like, well, we're hiring somebody in Public Works, we're gonna be paving the roads this year, I don't care. I really don't care. I don't wanna hear that. We've emphasized that in the COG in the past, say something. I don't want you to just say something. I want you to say something that maybe somebody can use that information. And that's what we're trying to emphasize. Karen brought up about that municipal bid last time. Somebody else added that they actually saved a stainless steel bed off the truck and just bought a chassis. We've talked about how we saved the money going through the Westmoreland COG with that last Public Works bid, or the last Public Works vehicle we bought. So that's the kind of things we're trying to emphasize, that you can go to that COG and you might get something that you can take back for your community that's actually valuable. Not that, yeah, we're having the Easter egg hunt. I don't care. I really don't. Tell me something that's gonna help me. Tell me something I can take back. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to go more for quality than quantity of reports. So, Karen, you wanna speak of that at all?
No, and, I don't know, is everybody, I forwarded the take back sheet. that-
I did too.
So if everybody, would review that here on council, if you had any questions about it, just give Tamara a call.
A lot of that stuff is from the borough, from that ESAB magazine you get, and so a lot of it's that. It's interesting stuff. And DZ's office was there last month, and they included some grant opportunity stuff. We want to try to promote that a little more. One of the other things, somebody had approached me about 3 weeks or so ago and asking about an RCAP grant. It's actually an RACP, but it's called RCAP grant. And I said, I have no clue, we've never done that before, but I can look into it. So now if a community comes back and they have a question like that, maybe we can contact the legislator and say, can you talk about that next meeting for everyone's benefit? Because I didn't ever heard about it before, those kind of things. So we're trying to increase the value of the COG. Because if you just strictly go by, hey, we put in $4,000 a year in dues and we get a CDBG grant every 5 years and the money isn't quite equal to what we're paying in, well then you're not gonna get your money back out of it. But if you emphasize these other things, the networking value and what you might learn to help you, it's hard to put a number on it. That's what we're trying to emphasize now. So.
Is there any movement towards requiring communities that are not in the COG not to be able to bid on the contracts that they share?
Well, that's through SHACOG. We don't actually have any through the Charter West COG, that's SHACOG stuff. What we are trying to do is, and Bob and I just spoke about this UCC board, you leave the COG, you're off that UCC board, you gotta make your own. And there's been some discussion, and we have police and fire training through the COG, and it's a joint thing. But the problem is, I think probably half the communities that are participating in that are communities that have already left the COG. That they get to spend $500 and get the benefit of all this training and the administrative end and everything else. And my feeling is, you leave the COG, you shouldn't be able to participate in that anymore. And the argument from the COG is, well, if we did that, this community, they're really the drivers of all the police training. They're the ones that do the training, and they're not COG members. So if you want to cut your nose off, go ahead and toss them on, then you're not going to have any training. So that's the sort of catch-22 with that I don't know if it's going to work, but we want to start that with this UCC board, that it's contingent upon you being a member of the COG, so you know if you leave, you have to make your own, which is a little burdensome because there's a lot of requirements. You can just appoint somebody for zoning hearing, but there's a lot of requirements for UCC for that appeals board, like an architect or an engineer and things like that. So we're working towards that, trying to increase the value of the COG. And also we're talking to Quaker Valley COG about possibly sharing services or even possibly merging down the road, which I am not sold on, even close to being sold on, but I think it's something to talk about. I think you need to look at all the different options and, how can we make this better? Well, if that means merging, then it means merging, but I don't think we're there. But at least it's more information, and maybe I could pick up a few things that we could use, that maybe different programs that we could do. So that's basically the speech I'm giving to the other communities that are like teetering on the fence of leaving the COG. So we're trying to turn this thing around and make it more valuable in a lot of different ways, but it's going to take a little bit of time, so be patient. And be cooperative too, because if she sends out something, say, hey, you have a dog ordinance, that she gets 8 dog ordinances back, So those are the kind of things. And really, like, if you just look at like that E360, that's going to tell you what it says, but that's not going to be, all the, when you have an ordinance, all the whereas, therefores, and all that other crap on there, that's not going to be on there. So you're going to have to recreate all that. But if you have the actual ordinance, then that's a different story. Maybe you can just plug in your name instead of Ingram Borough. So those are the kind of things we're working on. It's just a mending fences tour. I don't know how it's going, but I'm going to give it a try, because I don't want to do all this work all year and then have it pulled. So, any questions? That's all I
Do
have.
we have to do anything with the MRM?
Yes, there's,
What,
we have somebody has to be appointed for the workers' comp.
when is it?
It's
Is it
in
Friday?
your 7 Springs,
Friday.
one's
Yes,
Thursday, one's Thursday and one's
Well, you'll be
Friday.
there Friday. You can do Friday?
Good, if you want.
They're probably get a check.
Yeah.
You should be getting a dividend check, I would think.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody over that thing's Tim will be the delegate then for the Friday workers' comp. I'll do Thursday for
Yeah,
the
and I'll send
liability,
it- right.
and then Tim will be there for Friday for the workers' comp. Okay. All right. Any old business or new business?
Do we need to advertise for that Whitmire for the planning commission?
I haven't, well, I gave it to Brian the other day. I collected the $500.
Right.
I haven't even,
Talk to them. Why don't we just authorize you to,
I was
if
just
we
gonna
can
say.
get it done at the April meeting?
you're not gonna get it done at the April meeting because the county requires 45 days.
Yeah, that's-
I haven't, they just got it.
Okay, all right.
You just want to
So
wait?
we'll do it next month. We'll do the advertisement next month.
Did we get plans from them?
Yes.
Anything
It's
else?
just a lot consolidation.
Yeah, it's a lot of consolidation, it's not a big deal. Anything else, anybody else? Any other public comment, any questions, comments? No? Mr. Pixel, do you have something?
Yeah,
Okay,
okay,
I might be sorry, but
yeah, well, we'll take a shot at it.
what's your address?
Number 7 Wynn Avenue.
Okay,
Uh,
you can sit down.
everything is related to, parking. But I have trouble with Wynn being two ways, and they only treat it as one way up or down. You're either gotta stop and wait for the other people to clear, or many a time you can't even get off Ingram Avenue because you come into Sunset with the other party coming up. And up and down, it's too busy of a street to be one way this block, the other way, till they clear. So
But it also slows traffic down too.
yeah,
In a good way, not necessarily in a bad way. There is downside to it, but on the good side, it also slows traffic down too.
right. But it ends up being negative most of the time. And I don't know
So when you,
feasibility of one way.
Is there on-street parking on both sides there?
Just one side.
one side.
No, one
Just
side.
one side?
I'll tell you what, I'll refer that to the committee and they can take a look at it and we'll go from there. I know that sounds.
Okay, that's fair. Like I say, it,
Yeah, you know, we tried that with Mainscape that time and you think, well, what can happen? And it turned into a nightmare because people were detouring all over the world and causing.
yeah,
You
yeah.
moved the problem to 12 other places.
You're right, you know.
And now you go one way, and people know they can just fly down that street because nobody's coming the other way, so it's always unforeseen, unknowable, unknowable.
There's always two sides of the coin.
Yeah, right.
It is what it, the next thing, I have a little problem on myself, because I have to park in a driveway,
Mhm.
and sometimes I can make it no problem, but sometimes my guests or my wife can do it. We can't get out because there's a car parked right.
Too close to the,
Right, and we got a driveway and a driveway. So we're sort of boxed in, but I don't know if there's any legal way
I
to
don't know,
do that.
I don't know, for some reason, I think you're not allowed to pull up right up to the edge of the driveway. I thought you had.
No,
Well-
just on the opposite side.
You're talking about on the opposite side or like right on either side?
No,
of the driveway?
on the one side they park on.
Unless you have the opposite
I
your
have
driveway.
two driveways, right in the middle. You only have one parking place on the other side here, and that's usually taken. But hey, I can make it.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll have to, while they're done, they can look at that also.
Okay,
Okay.
well, the last thing,
Oh, there's another one.
Another.
yeah, we're gonna get that, but you guys are all clear on this one. You gotta
Yeah,
look
that's what you
good.
think, that's what you think. Go ahead.
This is on the part that the city owns.
Oh, okay.
That road's getting awful.
Alright, let me tell you the story. We've had complaints about that. I actually met a few weeks ago with the manager in Grafton. And I said to her, we would be more than happy to help you. If it means a little bit of manpower, whatever,
Right.
we understand that with the carways and stuff, that it's basically not ours, but they have a shed full of cold patch and everything else. I said, I think you should contact the city, and their answer was, we're gonna probably be paving our side. Well, just half the road you're gonna pave?
Is that correct?
Why don't you contact the city, because we went in with the city on the bottom West Prospect, and also
Right.
Middletown Road, and worked out very well for us.
Right.
So I don't know where that stands right now, but
Yeah,
that's where I left that we would be more than happy to help to,
we
if they.
realize that, and this is not your baby,
No, but still, we have to drive on it, so.
but you see, it's got another detour down here on the storm sewer. It's giving away again, right down.
Well, that's why I thought the best solution would be for them to
Right,
partner with the
right.
city, and let's get that paved, because the city's been very cooperative with us, now whether they would do with Craft,
Well,
I
I
don't know.
call that 311 line, and they say, don't bother, it's all belongs to Ingram. And last year, they wouldn't even cut the,
Well, you know that's not true, so.
yeah, they wouldn't even touch it last year.
Ingerman's where the backyard of that North
Right,
house is.
right.
Or, I mean, North Main house.
You got a maintenance sign there.
Yeah, on the other side.
But God
Okay.
knows.
Yeah, we're trying to do that, but we're limited, it ain't like we can go down and just pave the city's road, but we're trying. Steve contacts them all the time
realize
about
that.
patching, and
But it's
I talked to them about trying to help them patch, and I talked to them about partnering with the city about maybe getting the whole thing paved, so that's.
What street are Crafton gonna do?
They own so much of that too.
They don't
Well, when you're
see,
coming up from the bridge up into Ingram, the right side's all theirs,
right,
yeah, so they're just gonna do that one lane. That was their plan, just to do that lane.
well, you got three people, nobody wants to do it.
I'd do it if it was in Ingram, it'd been paved by now,
I understand.
so that's not really the
I
case,
understand. That's just,
it's not ours,
that's in your, not in your
but we're trying,
backyard.
but we're trying.
Yeah, but it's getting bad.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, anybody have anything else? Joe?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion,
Second.
second by Ms. Dixon, all those in favor? Aye. Go home.